In the opening scene, we see a show host, Nikki Sparks Turner, excitedly introducing her first guest, who is the handsome actor of the quick and the dangerous film franchise in the person of Chase Wheeler. He is there to promote the next movie in the franchise, and she happily reveals that she is a huge fan. Chase also reveals that he is a fan of her, and this shocks her. He praises her for being smart, funny, and a role model to aspiring female mechanics everywhere. He compliments her beauty and gets on one knee. She is dumbfounded as he brings out an engagement ring and proposes marriage to her. She looks lost as he constantly calls her name, till she is jolted back to reality. She has been daydreaming and her boss, Larry, calls her name to get her attention. A customer, Mr. Holden, is ready to pick up his car, and she explains what she fixed in his car. Her boss praises her and fondly calls her nickname, Sparks. She wants to get started on the next car, and Larry wants her to hand over the car herself. She is shocked because he has always done that, but he wants her to do the honors since she did all the work. Plus, the customer is good looking, and he is rumored to be a top TV executive. He believes with the kind of car he drives, he is not married, which makes Nikki laugh. Mr. Holden approaches as Larry excuses himself and Nikki quickly pretends to be busy. She nervously speaks to him and hands him the keys. He asks if the mechanic is around because he would like to thank him for the good job he has done on his car. Nikki nervously tells him that she is the mechanic, and he is shocked to see a female mechanic. It is rare in that line of business. Nikki believes it's a shame there aren't more women in her field, and she even wrote an article about how more women are needed in the auto industry to enhance its survival. She brings her phone to show him the article, but she just keeps seeing photos of her cats. She feels so embarrassed and promises to show him another time. He thanks her for his car and leaves. In the next scene, Kate calls the attention of her little brother Jeremy, who is engrossed on the phone in the kitchen. She reminds him that he is at his niece's 13th birthday party. He explains that he is working because Chase is his biggest client, and the PR world is ever busy. Kate calls him the people pleaser, but he lets her know he will have problems with the partners in this organization if he doesn't keep Chase happy. She wonders if he cares about what makes him happy, but he tells her he will be happy when he makes a partner. She reminds him that he doesn't have a social life, and it's been 2 years since he last went on a date with his ex, Hannah. He tries defending himself, then he gets a message and has to go. The next scene is at the bar where Nikki is with Larry and Carlos. Larry asks when the last time she went on a real date was, and she can't even remember. She reveals that her reason for being single is because she hasn't met someone that makes her want to take the risk. They advise her to go out and not spend all her days at the shop. As they walk out of the bar, Nikki sees what she had never thought she would come across. Chase Wheeler, her crush, fixing his car by the roadside while a group of fans take videos. The car still did not work. Larry reveals to Carlos that Chase is her crush. They urge her to go and help him. She is reluctant to offer her help, but they urge her to. Larry promises to let her take out Tilly, the SS Maddie, for the afternoon if she fixes the car. She is shocked because he doesn't let anyone drive it. Then she rushes off. When she approaches, she meets Jeremy, who is inside the car, and offers her help as a mechanic. He is happy and informs Chase that they are in luck. However, Chase thinks she is a fan, and he tells her that it is not a good time, but his PR guy, Jamie, will give her a signed headshot. Jeremy goes ahead to get Chase's picture, but Nikki tries to clarify that it's not her intention to get an autograph. In a bid to explain, she calls Jeremy Jamie like Chase did, and he corrects her that Jeremy is his name. She wonders why he lets Chase call him the wrong name, but he dismisses her concerns. Nikki turns to face Chase and mentions that she is there to give him a helping hand. He laughs at her words and proudly states that he knows his way around the car because he has driven it in 11 movies. As she walks away, the car still doesn't start. She looks back and tells him she has seen his movies several times, and they are not scientifically accurate. She gets his attention and begins to lecture him on the things he has to think about when trying to know why his car won't start. They are fuel and battery, and everything else. Jeremy gets down from the car and joins them. Chase mentions that he is not out of gas, and Nikki guesses that it's not battery either. She goes ahead to check other parts, while the other fans continue taking videos. Then she finally discovers that it's the spark plug that's the problem. She explains while she fixes it as he hands her the tools. The car starts and Jeremy is so excited. The fans, Larry and Carlos, clap for Nikki. However, Chase doesn't seem thrilled or appreciative of her efforts. He doesn't even thank her. He simply tells Jeremy that they should get out of there before the day gets even worse. However, Jeremy rushes down to meet Nikki, but she is gone. Luckily, He sees her business car right on the floor, and he picks it up. Then he sees her with Larry and Carlos, and he smiles at her. In the next scene at the mechanic shop, Larry and Carlos are impressed with how Nikki fixed Chase's car, but they are not happy she left. They think he was about to give her his number. She pleads with them to drop the issue because it makes her greatly embarrassed. However, they didn't think so. That incident was the most confident they had seen her, especially when she has been letting a handsome barrister call her name wrongly for the past 5 years. They wonder where she got the confidence from. She revealed it was when she saw a girl who waved happily at her among the fans. Immediately, she felt the urge to show the girl that women can also do what men do. They praise her effort. Meanwhile, the board at Jeremy's work is watching the video of Nikki explaining how to fix a car to Chase. They are not pleased with the way it is making waves in the media, especially when Chase is supposed to be the expert based on his movies. Jeremy promises to fix the problem, but they reveal that he fired them that morning and now has a new PR agency. Jeremy is shocked that he could do that because of one video, but it happens that the video got over 5 million views and Chase believes his brand is hurt by it. The damage has been done, and they need to move forward. They remind Jeremy that Chase is to be the next host on American Wheels, which is the biggest talk show in the world for car enthusiasts. They need a new frontrunner and haven't found anybody else that fits the role, but Jeremy promises to figure it out. They urge him to think outside the box on the project. At the mechanic shop, Larry and Carlos have made a figure of Chase advertising their business, but Nikki thinks it is ridiculous. They think it could boost their business, but she believes they have to choose her or the sign. She is reminding them that it's just one video, and a few people saw it when Jeremy walks and correcting her that 5 million people saw it, not counting the repost and all. Carlos and Larry excuse themselves so they can give them privacy. Jeremy shows her the signed headshot since she left quickly the previous day, but feels she wouldn't need it anymore after seeing the Chase cut out signs. She quickly tells her it is not hers. He reveals he fired her, and when she wants to blame it on herself, he tells her it was bound to happen at one point because of Chase's ego. Nikki thinks he is there to fix his car, so she offers to foot the bill. He reveals that it's not there to fix his car. Rather, he is there with an opportunity for her. Since his PR agency lost Chase, they need someone to pitch for the next host of American Wheels. Nikki thinks Carlos put him up to it, but soon realizes that he is serious. She tells him that she is not famous, but he reminds her that 10 million people saw her video and know who she is. Besides, they have not had a female host on the show. She believes it won't work because it is just one video, but his plan is for them to make more. When she mentions that people watch the video because of Chase, and they would laugh if it was just her, he assures her that no one would laugh at her because she was amazing. He convinces her to give it a shot, but she declines, continually saying Larry needs her at the shop. He gives her his business card, but she refuses to take it by claiming she is not that person. Larry watches everything from above, and when Jeremy leaves, he calls Nikki into his office. He doesn't want her to use his name as an excuse if she plans on being a coward. She is shocked to hear that he overheard Jeremy's proposal, and he advises her to take the offer. She is worried about the shop, but he assures her that they will manage with the other people that work at the shop. He guesses that she is doubting herself, so he assures her that she is more than just a mechanic. He sees her as a role model because she is in a career that most females think belongs to men. For instance, his daughters never thought that women could be mechanics, and now he has got 3 lawyers with nobody to take over the shop from him when he's gone. If only they had someone like her to look up to and show them they could be whatever they want to be. She is amazed he thinks people would look up to him. Then he hands her Jeremy's business card, which comes as a surprise. Nikki calls him immediately to inform him that she is down for his proposal. He is so excited, but she asks that if they agree, she can walk away at any time, and she will always have the final say. He accepts her terms for them to be a team where she is the captain. They begin the plan by developing a mood board. He explains that it is a way to develop her brand by finding inspiration for her brand. Those pictures will give them examples of what they want to present to the public. He shows her different themes that represent strong women and show off the best part of herself. He clarifies that he doesn't intend to change her, and she wonders if that is what he did with Chase. Jeremy mentions that he had to make him appear nicer than he is. She shows him her mood board, and though it is not what he expects, he has to agree since she has the final say. In the next scene, they begin to shoot her introductory video. It didn't go as planned because she keeps trying to be who she is not. He suggests they try the one that looks a little more like her, but she believes people prefer to watch some people like a rock star. He tries to convince her that it's not her brand, even though she has added it to her mood board. They tried making the video again, but it still didn't turn out well. While having a food break, Nikki wonders how Chase pulls off the celebrity thing with many people always watching him. Jeremy reveals that he had nightmares about Chase for the first 6 months that he started working for him. He believes he calls him Jamie on purpose because he doesn't drive. He only rides a bicycle. Nikki is surprised to hear this, but he argues that he doesn't have to know how to drive. But she offers to teach him so he can understand why people love cars. He asks why she loves cars, and she passionately explains that driving is when she is mostly free and she can go anywhere she wants, be anyone she wants. Seeing how passionate she is, Jeremy starts filming her and explains that it is great content. She dares him to catch the fries she throws in his mouth, and she will try to do things his way and be more herself. However, if he fails, she will teach him how to drive. Lucky for him, he caught the fries. Then, he proposes that if she hits 50,000 followers, he will let her teach him how to drive. He then tells her he already has an idea. The next scene shows them in her mechanic shop. The Channel 5 television crew are there to interview her, and she is nervous. The interviewer, Naomi, assures her that everything will be fine because her video went viral for a reason. She reveals that Nikki is the face of girl power currently. When Naomi goes to check on her cameraman, Jeremy walks up to her, and Nikki doubts the interview is a good idea. He believes it will get her in front of people, which is what they need for their brand. He assures her that everything will be fine. He even thinks she can learn a thing or two from Naomi because she is professional. He tries his best to help her keep calm, like he tells his Neve to help her nervousness. The interview begins, and she mistakenly refers to the interviewer Larry. After the interview, she hides in the tools room, and Larry comes to find her. He assures her that the interview was great, but she is embarrassed she called Naomi Larry on live TV. He tries his best to make her feel better, but she feels she keeps letting Jeremy down when he believes so much in her. Larry reminds her that everyone makes mistakes and no one performs excellently well on the first day at their job. She feels bad for herself, that she is not the Nikki people want to see. Meanwhile, Jeremy watches the video he made of her in his office. His sister, Kate, comes in carrying dinner because she knows he will be stuck at work. He reveals that he has to work hard to keep the partners happy, especially since the incident with Chase happened. She comes bearing news about someone named Aaron, but he gets distracted with the content he is trying to create for Nikki. Kate sees her and cannot help but mention that she looks cute. He explains that he is trying to get her to create some decent content, so she will be the next host of American Wheels. She is amazed that Nikki from the viral video is his new client, but he explains that it is not working with her. Kate gets that he is trying to replicate how natural and confident she was in the viral video, but doesn't get why she is dressed like it's a music video. He explains that Nikki thinks musicians get better views than audiences. Kate explains that Nikki is simply scared of rejection because, for some people like her, it is easier to pretend to be somebody else. While others become persistent people pleasers, Jeremy feels hurt by her words, but knows she is right. She advises him to meet Nikki where she is, and shows her that she is enough. She even suggests he becomes vulnerable with her a little bit. The next day, he rides to meet her at the mechanic on his bicycle. He is surprised she is dressed as the real Nikki, and he also reveals he wants to show her the real him. He reveals that his sister's car needs to be fixed, so they head over to her place. At Kate's place, Nikki laughs as she sees Jeremy's childhood photo album. Then, Charlie, his niece, joins them, and she is surprised to see Nikki. Ever since the viral video, she has been inspired and has read more about cars. Nikki is surprised to hear of the impact her video has had on the girl, and Jeremy gives her the "I told you so" look. Charlie wants to try fixing the car, but Kate tells her she is underage. Nikki agrees that she is right, but proposes that she is her assistant, and Charlie is so excited. They proceed to fix the car. Nikki teaches Charlie as they proceed to fix the car. Jeremy films them with his phone, and she is totally in her entire relaxed state. At the end of the video, she identified the problem, and he commends her for doing great. She proposes that he works with her as an assistant to inspire his niece, since he knows next to nothing about cars. From then onwards, Nikki finally eased into the hosting show, and her follower count grew. They make different videos, and she gets better with each one until they get to 50,000 followers. Finally, it's time to teach Jeremy how to drive. She holds him up to his promises, even though he is nervous about it. They drive to the front of a stream and make a toast to stepping out of their comfort zones. He can't believe he is learning how to drive when his sister Kate has been trying to get him to drive for years. She mentions that they are quite close, and he reveals that she is his best friend. Their parents used to work a lot while they were growing up, so it was just the two of them most of the time. Nikki's reveals that it was the same with her dad, who was an amazing mechanic. He used to take her to the garage, and that was where she found her love for cars. He used to bring her to the spot where they are talking, and Jeremy believes he would be proud that she is sharing her passion with the world now. She wishes she has his confidence, and Jeremy assures her that she does, but simply doesn't know where to find it. That is why he is there to remind her of what he is capable of. His phone beeps, and as he is about to check it, she reveals she is there to remind him that there are more important things than work on a Saturday. She invites him to Larry's anniversary right away. They go to a bar at night. Larry mentions that she brought a date, but she quickly mentions that she was giving him a driving lesson. Jeremy claims he simply tagged along. Jeremy dances while Nikki and Larry sit. He asks about her journey to stardom, and she feels it is great even though she never thought she could achieve it. Larry knew, once everyone sees the real her, they would love her. She believes he is an old softie, but he blames it on being married for 40 years. Nikki can't imagine what being married for that long would feel like, but he assures her that it goes by in a flash with the right person. She wonders how one knows that person is the right person, and he tells her it's when they accept a person for who they are. They should bring out the best in each other and can't imagine doing life without each other. She keeps glancing at Jeremy on the dance floor as he explains these qualities. He assures her she will find the right person for her soon, and they may even be closer than she thinks. She realizes that he may be referring to her and Jeremy, so she clarifies that there is nothing of such going on between them, and it is strictly business. Later, she walks up to Jeremy, who is on the phone. He reveals that the producers of the American Wheels love what they are doing, and they want to bring her in. She jumps up excitedly, but begins to have a little self-doubt. He assures her that contrary to what she thinks, 50,000 people believe she will do great. Besides, he is excited to watch it despite being more of a shark show guy. Meanwhile, Nikki grew up watching American Wheels because she loved cars and didn't fit in with the other girls who do girl things like makeup. They head to the TV center, but Nikki is super nervous. While Jeremy is trying to assure her that she will do great, Mr. Holden approaches and Nikki is surprised to see him. He was the customer she fixed his cars and mistakenly showed her cat's pictures to, and now he is to interview her. In his office, he is happy to be speaking with her, unlike when they met at her shop. He reveals he is a big fan of hers. He read her article, and he was impressed. They love her video and her whole social media presence, which is why they have decided to work with her. He scheduled her for a screen test on Monday at 3 p.m. Once outside, they excitedly hug to celebrate their success, and things get awkward. The only saving grace was Jeremy's phone, which beeps. The partner wants to see him, and he is super excited. Nikki is disappointed because she thought they would go and celebrate, but he fixed it for the next day. When he leaves, she looks at each celebrity poster in the hallway. Suddenly, she hears the voice of Chase Wheeler telling her she will get used to the publicity. The first time he saw his face on a billboard, he couldn't take his eyes off it. He apologizes for not thanking her for fixing his car. Nikki gets so nervous as he compliments her. He proposes that they have dinner the next night and promises to send his car to pick her up. He gives her his card. She is too stunned to talk. It is like a dream come true. Meanwhile, the partners congratulate Jeremy on the American Wheels meeting. They are happy that he thinks outside the box. They reveal the pop star Gia has requested to meet him to help her rebrand to a more down-to-earth personality. They reveal that if he can bring her in, he will be their top publicist, and they would even consider making him partner. Since her schedule is right, she has requested they meet on Monday at 3 p.m., which happens to be the time scheduled for Nikki's screen test. He asks for another time, but there is none, since Gia is leaving for her European tour later that day. They tell him that American Wheels is small compared to landing Gia as their client, and it is everything he has worked for. He assures them that he will be there. Jeremy and Nikki meet, and they post her video. He invites her to dinner with Kate because Charlie is doing the cooking. Before she can tell him about her scheduled meeting with Chase, he gets a notification and releases that Chase is still running for the American Wheels gig. He feels his anxiety nightmares returning. When she hears his comment, she lies that she is working at the shop. Nikki meets with Chase at the restaurant he proudly admits he bought, just because he loves steak. He proposes a guy as her business manager, but she mentions that she doesn't need one. He asks who will handle her sponsorship deal cash flow, and he assures her that huge deals will come. He offers her the info of his PR agency, but she reveals she has someone. Meanwhile, Jeremy and Charlie are having fun in the kitchen while he makes a video of her. Back at the restaurant, Chase can't believe Jeremy is her publicist. He reveals he knew his name, and it was an inside joke. He seems to be regretting letting him go now that he is with her. Back at Kate's place, she wonders if he has told her that he can't make it to her screen test. He reveals he doesn't want her to be disappointed. He feels Gia is the big break he needs in his career. Kate believes this may be more than his career, so she advises him to take some leftovers to her and tell her the truth. Jeremy arrives at the mechanic's shop and is surprised to discover that Nikki is not there as she claimed. He meets Carlos, who is playing the guitar while waiting for members of his band. He reveals that he hasn't seen Nikki all day. Jeremy wants him to give her the food, but Carlos thinks he should do the honors himself. After dinner, Chase proposes that they have dinner on Sunday while he helps her prepare for the screen test. He doesn't even wait for her reply, and he proceeds to take a picture with her. The next day, she practices with Jeremy. Then, he tries telling her about the latest news with him, and his phone beeps. He is surprised to see the picture she took with Chase and realizes that she was with him the previous night. The same night she claimed she would be working. Charlie texted him the picture. She confesses that she didn't want him to be upset, and he reveals that Chase is only trying to mess her head up, and he is all about helping himself only. She argues that he is also doing it not for the kindness of his own heart, but because it is good for his career. He gives her the food and reveals he doesn't bring clients around his family. He wishes her good luck and reveals he won't be coming because he will be meeting with a client that will help his career. They say hurtful things to each other. When Nikki meets Chase, he is glad she fired Jeremy. He believes publicists aren't any good, which makes Nikki wonder why he calls his current PR team the best before. He offers his help to her because he has been in the game for a long time. His first advice is that she shouldn't do American Wheels. He wants her to stick to the little videos she is making. She is surprised at how he suddenly changes. He calls her a small fry, adding that big shows like American Wheels are out of her depth. He accrues her success with his help and embarrasses her in the restaurant. Nikki walks home heartbroken, and she deletes her social media account. Jeremy is at Kate's house. He tries calling Nikki, but is unable to. The next day, Larry meets Nikki fixing cars at the workshop instead of auditioning. She has lost all faith in herself after the incident with Chase, and besides, she is no longer working with Jeremy. Larry then informs her of a young fan who is there to meet her favorite celebrity, Nikki. This meeting inspires her, especially after she expresses her desire to intern at the workshop. More girls want to learn from Nikki. Larry advises her not to be afraid of failure because there would be people who don't like her no matter what she does, and some will always be there for her because they love her for who she is. This lifts her spirits, and she heads to the audition. Jeremy meets with Gia, and she explains that she wants him to help her rebrand. She loves what he is doing with Nikki because her sister loves cars. He gets a phone call from Nikki, but doesn't pick up. While she is calling Jeremy, Chase is done with his interview, and she is up next. He boasts that they offered him the job there. He says more demeaning stuff to her and adds that Jeremy abandoned her because she doesn't know what she is doing. When he leaves, she keeps calling Jeremy. Gia notices and urges him to share what's making him distracted. He reveals the situation to her, and she notices that he is in love with the person. She tells him to go and show his support to the person because the meeting they are having is simply a formality. Nikki drops her phone as she is called on stage, and this is when Jeremy returns her call, but she can't pick up. She begins, but it all gets awkward, especially when it's still Chase's name that is on the teleprompter. As she begins again, Jeremy walks in. He holds a sign up telling her to take a breath and talk to him. From then on, she gives it her best shot, which amazes everyone. She has a break before the interview. She and Jeremy apologize to each other. She is shocked he jeopardized his promotion and the feelings of the partners by leaving Gia early, but he doesn't want to worry about what people think anymore. He gets back to being her publicist. She is about to ask him something when she is called for the interview. The interview session goes pretty well, and she has fun doing it. She is about to ask him the question again when Chase walks in. She gets anxious that her competition wants to watch her screen test, but he assures her she will do great. She gets called, and she continues. Chase mocks Jeremy for being in the B League, but he tells him it's better than watching him pretend to know about cars. Chase believes if the partner requests, he will be back working for him, but he reveals that he will be fine without him or the partners. He has decided to start his PR firm with Nikki, who he is sure is the next American Wheels host, and Gia. This leaves Chase dumbfounded. As Nikki rounds up, she calls Chase upstage. She makes a joke about how she helped him fix his car despite being the supposed car expert. This impresses the production crew, and they all clap for her. Chase walks out embarrassed. Outside, Jeremy commends Nikki for standing up to Chase. She reveals that he believed in her when she didn't, and he has given her the best experience of her life because it led her to him. With that, they kiss. In the next scene, Jeremy, Nikki, Kate, and Charlie watch Chase host the American Wheels. Eventually, the studio gave the show to both Nikki and Chase because they loved their chemistry. However, Nikki declined the offer because she couldn't stand the idea of co-hosting with Chase. Jeremy receives a message, and unlike before, he did not pick up his phone, even though it is from Gia. Kate is amazed at how changed his brother is, all thanks to Nikki's influence. The next show that comes up is Nikki's show, where she explains auto maintenance, repair, and modification. The show will also feature interviews with celebrities and car enthusiasts. Jeremy kisses her, and the family is so excited about his newfound love